Hi. Some of you have been asking for an update on various projects around the pile and an explanation of why it's the pile. Let's get started this morning. Our volunteer rhubarb got cold overnight and it came out to this. It's got a good red color, and please don't criticize, I know these can be slightly toxic when they're raw. But just no rhubarb flavor. So that's a total loss. That's how it goes in the garden. However, my wild tomatillo that a good friend of mine gave me is doing great out here, but it's getting cold enough I'm going to bring it inside soon. But it's making tomatillos.
Hi, and welcome to Yeti at Large. This is a channel focused on making the most out of what you have, no matter where you're at. Thanks for tuning in and helping out.
This little property that we're featuring on Yeti at Large was purchased a few years ago as a bank-owned home. Much like your neighborhood, the area that I'm in the last 5 to 6 years, the competitiveness for purchasing real estate has been insane. I was in a position where I needed to purchase a property and I was scanning the bank-owned homes. We call it the lovely pile of sticks because I put an offer in on this place blindfolded, and my real estate agent yelled at me saying that I was crazy because it could be a miserable pile of sticks. Well, we got here and we toured it, and my youngest looked at it and said, well, it's not miserable, it's a lovely pile of sticks. And the name stuck. Bossa Nova Jazz helps mellow me out, and there's no commercials on this channel. As we go through our preparedness series, I'm going to feature whole items, meaning start to finish. Think of something that you love to eat. How are you going to be able to have that if there is a challenge in getting the materials or the power to run it? I love popcorn, and I used to live a lot on these microwave popcorn, but I don't have the energy production capacity at the pile here to create enough electricity. Plus, I don't like the partially hydrogenated palm oils and the artificial ingredients that go in it. So I switched over to more of an air popper. This is only a 1200 watt air popper, and so while my little solar generator that I have won't run it, my propane gas flex fuel generator will. I keep plenty of Orville Redenbacher. This was a smoking deal on Amazon. I keep a little container to shovel it into to make it easier to handle. I have a huge affinity for Morton kosher salt, and then I keep powdered butter and powdered white cheddar from Hoosier Hill Farms. Great products. I suggest you look at them and see if they're right for you. I can make a little bit of air popped popcorn. I can make a nice dressing with these 3 powders, and I'm still enjoying one of my favorite snacks. This is the status of our ginger that we were growing from the chunks that we had at the grocery store. I put down 11 chunks. I have 5 solid starts coming up. I have brought these inside because I'm concerned they're not cold tolerant. And I don't know about the glare, but as you can see, Charo, the habanero, she just doesn't quit. So thinking about how many peppers you need to plant, this one plant for going on 4 years now has provided all of the fire I need for my diet. Gonna be a little road noise, but let's go outside and we'll look at the progress of the wood project. Here's my Jackery 240. About once every 60 days, I jog the batteries and recharge them. I keep the actual unit out of the sun. Like I said earlier, this little unit is too small to run that popcorn popper, but it runs a lot of little essential things, and it's a great insurance policy. We finished splitting the wood that we had on hand. We raked the yard, and we got everything stacked in our wood shed. Do the math. This adds up to about 3.5 cords of wood, and we ran the burn barrel last night just on the small pieces that we got. Now this may seem awkward to somebody who's not used to running a wood stove, but this is that pinyon pine I was talking about, full of resin. I learned the hard way, you put too big of a chunk of this in your fireplace and it's going to overfire. So it shatters into these smaller pieces. These are money. I got the equipment put away. It's not fully winterized, but it's going to stay dry. 2 good tarps on this, no more of that blue tarp nonsense. And all of this raked up. I just absolutely love it, ready for winter time. This is one of our mascots. This is Johnny. He keeps a close eye on things. We've got the garage all cleaned up after the Corvette incident, which I have not told you all about. And we did a couple projects yesterday working on the Rival Grind-O mat. Speaking of the Corvette, it was due to be shipped in 12 hours to the East Coast, and I was bringing it home from the alignment shop, and the one hose that nobody ever dealt with blew off, fried out the temperature sensor, which is right over here, and drained all the coolant. The car overheated so bad before I could get it stopped that I seriously thought it was going to burn to the ground. So the Corvette did not get shipped, and I don't know what the status of this cast iron L98 V8 is. If you're smart with these motors, will you please tell me in the comment below how bad we've hurt this engine? We're going to dig into it in a little bit. Our other guardian spirit here is this clown my grandmother painted. He's a serious customer, and I'm just as scared of him as you are. We have the capacity to get a lot of snow here, so having things up off the ground and clear walkways when it's time for snow removal can really make all the difference in the world. It really is nice to get your property prepared. Snowfall can land at any point in the year here, and we always pray for more than we usually get, but you know how it goes. This was the last piece of wood that we had, that oak stump from the storm damaged tree. I replaced the pinion stump that I had, and I want to save it for a project in the future. Well, hi there. Yes, Agnes, I know, thank you. Go get him, go get him, go get him, look. So I keep it on a piece of plywood to keep it off the ground, and I'll cover it in the wintertime. I don't want it to get weathered any worse than it has to. So stay tuned for this. We're going to turn this into something fun. So the 3 tenets of being prepared and being ready for emergencies. Obviously you want to be out of debt. We've minimized our profile here, which does mean living tight. Dave Ramsey says stay out of a restaurant unless you work there. You know, we have a small mortgage. Thank God I locked in at 2.38% when they bottomed out. We have no other payments here, so that's by choice, and you make decisions, and that can create some challenges and hardship. But if your guiding principle is to reduce your debt profile, then it makes some of those decisions a little easier. I can't remember who it was famous that said that debt is the enemy of liberty. Might have been Franklin, might have been Dr. Rush, I can't remember. But that was A, number 1. Then B, we have some abilities and we have some reserves, however modest. That 3 cords of firewood I showed you earlier, I consider that a tremendous asset. It is split, stacked, it's safe, it's ready to go, and the pile uses predominantly wood heat, so that's an asset to me. The third thing is the community, helping others. Are you a builder or are you a taker? Now, just because you may profit off of a foreclosed property like I have, doesn't mean I'm a taker. That property was in the market through no action of my own. When I say about taker, I'm talking about people who, Schadenfreude, who specifically focus their efforts on other people's loss. To the extreme end, people who would gain money by subterfuge, by dishonest means. On the far end, large commercial banks and credit cards and debtors. You make your own judgment call about how you feel about the differences between those 2 groups of people. But the number 1 thing I can strongly recommend to you in this segment here, besides making sure you can make some really great hot buttered cheddar popcorn, is, are you giving? Are you volunteering? Are you engaged and active in your community? Have you built a community? And this goes especially to you if you feel like you're alone, if you feel like you're a little solo. I went through a job loss recently. I'm in the job market. I've talked very honest about that, and we're going to get into more of that downrange. And I'm going to share my experiences in looking for work and another career and growing that direction. It's not all going to be pretty. Some of it might be painful, but I have the courage to share that with you. And that's a promise today that I make. So if you find yourself in a position where you feel disconnected from a community, maybe you're an empty nester, maybe you are in the job market and you've lost connection with that group of people, I guarantee you in your immediate area there are opportunities to volunteer. Small, maybe, and it might not be exactly what you're looking for, but it sure doesn't hurt to go out there and give a little bit of your time and a little bit of your skills. Now, one of the brightest things and the sharpest thing you may learn is what you don't want to do and who you don't want to be involved with. Knowing what you don't can be just as powerful. But on the offset chance that you have a particular skill, let's say you're a CPA, let's say you're a dental hygienist, let's say that you are a construction worker, licensed bonded contractor possibly, I guarantee you, you've got something to give. I missed an opportunity the other day to go pick up litter on the freeway with a local group here. I'm going to go do it again. I can tell you now, looking backwards, being in the job labor market for nearly 40 years now, I started working full-time in 1983, very young, and the best jobs that I've ever had were the volunteer opportunities that I took over. I got into public safety by volunteering with the local search and rescue community. And within a few short months, because I showed up to work and I was a good student and I learned on my own time, I was in the right seat of fixed wing and rotorcraft operating as a tactical flight officer. I'm not a pilot. I'd sure love to be. If you're a viewer out there and can help me with that, please reach out to me. I will contact you. But amazing opportunity. So other than that, I volunteered with the Civil Air Patrol doing safety, and I volunteered with the local youth sports teams when my kids were playing sports. Remember at the height of youth football when concussion awareness was the overriding thing and it really almost was the end of youth football? I became a certified USA football concussion coach, meaning I had a red flag and I could stop the game if I thought anything was unsafe. In 12 years, I only did it twice. Once was in Orlando at the Apopka Fields. Nothing but love for Orlando and Apopka. If you're in that neighborhood, please give me a shout out. My volunteer opportunities gave me more than I could have ever given. I still donate blood, and I need to go in and donate blood again. I'm a universal donor. Those opportunities like there, you can build a community so fast if you're good and you give. Help people. Build. Grow. Thank you so much for tuning in to Yeti at Large. I know popcorn may not be the #1 prep of all time. I think next time we'll go into various forms of potatoes and how to store those and handle them. But some of life's luxuries can really make life's hardships more bearable. Please like and subscribe. Agnes, you want to say goodbye? Sit. Right there. No, over here.